दे दो, बच्चे कर लेंगे निश्चित ही। गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन, ऑनलाइन पीपल, गुड इवनिंग। चलिए शुरू करते हैं। तो फर्स्ट थिंग वी हैव इज, थोड़ा बहुत हमने इसके बारे में पहले भी समझा हुआ है, वी हैव अंडरस्टूड दिस अ बिट। भारतीय न्याय संहिता, बेसिकली इट विल रिप्लेस इंडियाज Indian Penal Code, a code that is used by police for its functioning and all. So few provision we understood in previous class. पता नहीं कितनों को याद है, नहीं, I don't know. But previous class में we understood few provisions. The remaining we will understand. I told you as this news will become more evident, more analysis, we will keep on doing this. So we know the committee. Please remember this committee name for sure. That this has been introduced after the committee by the name of Dr. Ranbir Singh. ठीक है, नेशनल लॉ यूनिवर्सिटी दिल्ली, भी नो, नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट बट नेम इज इम्पोर्टेंट. डॉक्टर रणबीर सिंह कमिटी अपॉइंटेड बाय मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर्स gave some recommendation. Based on those recommendation, they are basically appending the laws. Introduction, we know that IPC was originally drafted in 1834. Year is not important, but याद रखिए 19th century by the first law commission chaired by T.B. Macaulay. He did something else also. He's very instrumental. Yes, Macaulay Minute. He's very instrumental in creation of a language we are using right now as the medium of education in India, known as Macaulay Minute, in which he ruled out that Indian languages do not have the capacity to be used as a language of communication. But that was official bogusness, because the real reason was native language में things become more evident easily. इसीलिए for example, Gandhi ji when wrote New India or something, English version was not banned, the Gujarati version was banned, because native language you can read better. English में they know that English is read by few people who consider themselves elite, who think that the common people knows nothing. So these people anyway do not revolt. Language is a very strong mean of communication. When you're using English as a language, then you're also not only using a language, you're using a culture itself. When you are well versed in English, though of course you would like to watch English movies as well, English dramas, English novels, and all of those are written from the perspective of Englishmen. So language, learning a language not only brings the means of communication, it also brings an entire culture together. Okay, please remember that. And the question here comes is why codification? इससे पहले जिंदगी मस्त चल रही थी, codification क्यों किया? Because Britishers have a tendency, we don't. We relied on oral testimony. If you know, for centuries we had oral testimonies. Every text was written very late in Hinduism, particularly. For example, Gita and all, they were written, I believe, in Gupta period. Okay? So very late in the times. But Britishers, they always had a tendency of writing, creating documents. Same thing we had about 1857 revolt. We know that revolt from the perspective of British, because they wrote that. They wrote everything. And even we know our culture from the perspective of British. Does anyone remember a term that I told you, academic term, when you interpret your world from others' perspective? नहीं याद है किसी को? Orientalism. मैं समझाया था ओरिएंटलिज्म, एडवर्ड सेड्स आइडिया, ओरिएंटलिज्म, that the people in non-Western world not only understand their own, they do not understand the world history, but they even understand their own history from the perspective of the colonial masters, and they wrote that history from, of course, colonial biasness. This is called Orientalism. जैसे we divide Indian history into ancient, medieval, modern, and we say medieval time is Muslim, ancient is Hindu, and modern is British, Christian. Who did this? Britishers. By medieval time में you had Maratha Empire also, but नहीं. Medieval means Mughals. So we understand our history from the perspective of the British writers, and such phenomena is known as Orientalism. Please remember this, and that's why the codification was done. Because when you codify the laws, you codify them from your own perspective. For example, जैसे यूसीसी पे we had the debate, अगर किसी को कुछ याद हो तो यूसीसी online people, am I audible? दो दिए होंगे, पुराने एक नया. Okay, so everyone is clear on this. Why codification? Because when you codify, you use your narrative, you use your perception to create laws. And laws, I always told you, is based on the morality of that time. What you consider right or what you consider wrong in that time only, in that community, in that place. So they codified the laws, of course. So these laws had British biasness. They had these laws has British biasness. We will understand few of the provision. So recently हमें पता ही है, previous class में भी हमने करा था, the new bill has been introduced. It will completely replace the IPC. ठीक है, let's see the key highlight. Defamation. This provision we did not address previous class में. Defamation. What is defamation? किसी को idea कुछ? हिंदी नहीं बोला था. हाँ. Yes. Defamation basically means trying to demeaning someone, disrespect, dishonor, whatever you want to, lowering the dignity of an individual, simply stating, is basically defamation. The problem with the law in India is you have two types of defamation, criminal and civil. Politicians use this a lot. If you say anything against them, immediately defamation, 2,000 crore rupee case. And you have to fight that in the court. And you waste a lot of time. उन्हें पता है that if they will not be able to win the case, but still they will waste your time, because court में case का मतलब you have to go to the hearings. ठीक है, you have to go to the hearings because उसने file किया. If you don't go to the hearings, then you will lose the site. So they always use defamation, and it has been. Rahul Gandhi is a good example. He lost his membership in the name of defamation. The Modi surname case, defamation case that was. So the thing is, the current bill carries defamation. Simple imprisonment up to 2 years, a fine, and a community service, or a combination of thereof. So defamation will continue. Section may change whenever this bill will be enacted. Previously it was 499 and 500. अब आगे क्या होगा we do not know. But defamation सबको समझ में आया? Defamation basically means lowering the dignity of an individual. And Supreme Court has upheld this case earlier. किसी को याद है केस का नाम क्या था? क्योंकि मुझे तो याद नहीं है. क्या था केस का नाम? श्रेया सिंघाल नहीं था. Defamation. सुब्रमण्यम स्वामी केस. Subramaniam Swamy case में Supreme Court upheld section 499 and 500 of the IPC, stating that protecting one's dignity is as important as protecting someone's freedom of speech. Just because you have freedom of speech, it does not mean you can say anything about anyone. But remember, defamation में element of truth is still a defense. If you're saying something that contains truth, अब how you will verify? Of course, court में. When somebody will file defamation, you have to go to the court to prove, हाँ भाई, what I said is based on documents or something. That's a different thing. बात समझ में? But I believe that's necessary. But two defamation are there, criminal and civil. So criminal defamation is a worry because criminal involve imprisonment, and government often does not like people who criticize them. So there is argument by various human rights body that at least remove criminal defamation. बात समझ में आ रहा है? But the provision is being kept as it is, more or less. Clear? Please remember this. Next, mob lynching. This we do in polity, in freedom of speech, and other kind of issues, also in internal security. There is no law in India on mob lynching right now. What is mob lynching? Basically, you come together, for example, a guerrilla kind of warfare it is. You corner a person and you lynch that person to the point of death. For the first time, capital punishment has been introduced for the crimes of mob lynching, in addition to the option of sentencing offender to either 7 years of imprisonment or life imprisonment. First thing, capital imprisonment. Do you think it's justified? Capital imprisonment ठीक है? क्यों? सही है, मस्त चंगा है. हाँ. Sorry? Capital punishment. अच्छा, capital punishment माने to be hanged till death. Death penalty. Capital punishment. हाँ, पहला तो देखिए, philosophical dimension is the law is meant for reform, not punishment. First thing. But एक बार को, if you remove the philosophical dimension, the real reason is that capital punishment does not serve the purpose. Why? When you are going to lynch somebody, of course, the element of passion is there. मैंने पहले भी समझाया, a lot of crime involve passion more than reason. Because if there is reason, you won't commit a crime, because you know there is a law that will punish you. And when you will be punished, your entire family suffers. Keep this in mind. Not only the criminal suffers, their entire family suffers the stigma. The society treats them badly. मान लेते you are convicted of a murder, so what will happen to your family? The people will be like, भाई ये तो murderers हैं, तो दूर रहो. Social connection breaks down. So everyone knows that. In spite of that, you commit a crime, because majority of the crimes are crime of passion. That does not apply reason. And capital punishment works on the philosophy of deterrence. It aims to deter a person from committing a crime. You have a death penalty for murder because you want people to not commit murder in the fear of death penalty. But imagine a terrorist who is already willing to die. Uske liye what is the point of death penalty? Then you will do polity, you will understand. वहाँ पे case studies वगैरह होते हैं. तो study was done in USA. USA में there is a different system. India में the center is supreme. It has more power than the states. USA में it is reverse. The states are more powerful than the center. So some states of USA have abolished death penalty. Some states have kept it. So a study found the state which abolished that penalty saw a decrease in crime than the states which retain death penalty. The logic is, the report highlights that people see death penalty as a kind of freedom. People see that penalty as a kind of freedom. The criminals I am talking about. They see, finally, I will do it. I will do away with this heinous life. Because obviously, if you are living a pleasurous life, you would not like to commit anything that will jeopardize your life. मान लेते हैं you people. You don't like any government effort. मान लेते हैं government is bringing a bill, you hate it. But still you will not go to protest. Not because you don't like the bill, but because you know if you go to a protest, a case is filed, your UPSC career may be destroyed. The people who have something to hold on, they often do not commit crime. The people who have nothing to hold on, they are like, let's be it. समझ में आ रहा है? So both sides are there. One side says it is for deterrence, it is to prevent crime. The other side is it is useless, including India's Law Commission. So that's a debate we have to rage on, because it may be a question. If not in mains, then maybe in interview they can ask. Do you think the government has capped that penalty? It sounds nice. They always ask situational questions. Remember, mains is different, interview is different. It's about personality. They want to know how you understand the society, what you will do when you will be an IAS and IPS. बात समझ में आ रहा है सबको? So please understand this dimension. But anyway, mob lynching is now, if this bill get enacted, which will not happen before elections for sure, ठीक है, तो it will be a heinous crime including death penalty, 7 year imprisonment or life term. Clear everyone the dimensions? Next, adultery. Ab again go to the starting of class, what I told you, orientalism. आपको समझाया था ना, orientalism. Everything that you do, we all are biased. Whatever we do, we judge other person, other value. Whatever we do, we judge from our perspective, the values we had, our school, our college, our family, what kind of value they have given to us. Based on that, we judge other things. So what happened? Adultery, as this IPC was enacted by the Britishers, they had something called, इसमें लैंग्वेज मेंशन नहीं है, मैं बता देता हूँ. बेसिकली इसमें ये था कि अडल्ट्री प्रोविजन में that if a woman enters into a sexual relationship with another man without the consent of the husband involved, then it's adultery. So मतलब समझ रहे हैं आप, the woman, if the husband give the consent, then it's fine. पहला चीज तो सुप्रीम absurd लग रहा होगा आपको, but it has remained in our books for 75 years. Because I always told you, na, morality changes over time. It takes time to evolve morality. The Supreme Court has said, pehla the married woman is not the property of the husband, that he will give the consent. So it is unconstitutional, first thing. Second thing, for the adultery, the punishment will be given to the other male, not the female. ऐसी है दुनिया, ठीक है. So there were two problems here. Pehla, the consent of the husband means a property, and the second, the male is punished. Why not the both? So remember, Supreme Court has not said, or Supreme Court is not saying that adultery is legal. Supreme Court is only saying that the language of this provision is unconstitutional. बहुत बड़ा फर्क है दोनों में. समझ में आ रहा है सबको? तो इसका मतलब यह है, if Parliament makes a law on adultery, it can. Because Supreme Court has not declared adultery illegal. Supreme Court has only said the language of this provision was unconstitutional. And the case, remember everyone, the case name is Joseph Stein versus Union of India. Please remember this case name. And section फिलहाल तो ये था, बाकी अभी पता नहीं फ्यूचर में क्या होगा, ठीक है. Next, same sex relations. अब apply same analysis, Orientalism वाला analysis. The language here is unnatural sexual offenses against men. Because obviously बात है, it was written by Britishers. Britishers were Christian, and Christianity believes homosexuality is a sin. Hinduism does not believe so. If you want to see that, go to Khajuraho, the temple of Khajuraho. The sexual craving carvings on the entire temple, explicit, including even human-animal sex. Not only human-human, even human-animal relations are shown there. Kama Sutra. Hinduism has always been open to all flavors of life. Hinduism is more inclusive. आपको पता होगा the goal of Hindu life, the goal of Hindu life, dharam, arth, काम, moksha. So we included काम also, pleasure. Hindu life does not discount pleasure, unlike Buddhism or Jainism, which discount pleasure. काम is excluded from there. Christianity believes homosexuality is a sin, and they made India's IP. चीज है, that's monogamy and polygamy का गेम है. How come it is not a? नहीं, all I'm saying is in Hinduism में, अब Hinduism में, हाँ नहीं, cool, it's okay. Hinduism में the thing is it's not, Hinduism में मैंने आपको पहले भी समझा, there are a lot of books, there are a lot of narratives and we know only one of that. For example, जैसे रामायण में मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ, रामायण में who killed रावण? राम पक्का? विभीषण पक्का? We know Ram killed Ravan because we know that particular popular serial, that there are so many narratives of Ramayana, there are numerous versions. In some version even Sita has killed Ravan, depending upon who is the writer. So Hinduism is that vast, it's 1500 BC old. There's so many books, so many things, and it's very common. Not even a single mind, I don't believe that a single mind cannot comprehend Hinduism in its entirety. It's so vast. सिंगल माइंड कैन नॉट डू दैट. तो उसमें बहुत नैरेटिव है, वो अलग बात है, बट सबको समझ में आया बिकॉज इट वाज अननेचुरल, बिकॉज क्रिश्चियनिटी टीच इट. अगर ये आज लिखा गया था, जैसे आज के केस में तो आप बोलोगे इट्स अब्सर्ड, ठीक है, ऑफ कोर्स इट विल बी चेंज नाउ. होमोसेक्सुअलिटी, एलजीबीटी इज केस, याद रखना सब लोग, व्हाट इज द केस. और मैंने आपको पहले ही बताया, इफ यू कैन नॉट फील दैट पैशन, मतलब ऑफ कोर्स वी आर नॉट, लॉट ऑफ अस मे बी नॉट होमोसेक्सुअल. So if you cannot feel that passion, मैं हमेशा सजेस्ट करता हूँ, do watch a movie, make some time and watch movie Aligarh. If you really want to understand them without having them, मतलब without converting them yourself to that person, if you really want to understand what they mean, what they feel, watch movie Aligarh. That will change your narrative for always. चलिए, anyway it's up to you. Next, marital rape. अब ये मैंने आपको पहले भी समझा दिया था previous class में. There is a practical difficulty here to prove it. बाकी ऐसा कोई इशू नहीं है कि गवर्नमेंट डज नॉट वांट टू मेक इट इलीगल. गवर्नमेंट डज वांट टू मेक इट इलीगल, बट देयर इज अ प्रैक्टिकल डिफिकल्टी टू प्रूव इट. दैट्स व्हाई इट इज नॉट बीइंग डन. एनीवे, एज क्या रखी गई है? Not 18 years, which is the definition and the POXO also. POXO treats anyone less than age of 18. Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. इसमें less than 18 is a child, and best thing about the POXO is it's gender neutral. It's gender neutral law. It does not care about the boy or the girl. It treats them, if anyone involves in a relation, POXO is attracted. Of course, if you're a politician, then you're exempted. Okay? Otherwise, you're attracted. चलिए अगला, भारतीय नागरिक सुरक्षा संहिता. Basically a replacement of CRPC. Previous class में we understood this. Some provision we understood. Now we will understand remaining provisions. So it was enacted CRPC 1973. So it was reformed after independence. This was the only code that was reenacted. तीन है हमारे पास main, IPC, CRPC and CPC. Out of these, only this was the code that was rewritten in 1973. बाकी पुराने ब्रिटिश टाइम के. ठीक है, तो it's a comprehensive overhaul nonetheless. Basically, it helps in investigation of crime, apprehending suspected individual, evidence, culpability, and punishment. These are the broad dimension in which CRPC deals. Simply stating, it deals with the court's procedure in criminal cases. Simply stating. अब context क्या है हमें पता ही है, because we are celebrating आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव. ठीक है, तो we are celebrating this अमृत महोत्सव. So India, Modi ji have given, आपको पता ही होगा, पंच प्रण. ठीक है, 5 wars he talked in the what we call that in prime ministerial speech, I think from the Red Fort. He said so कि हमें we all the Indians have to take 5 vows. One of them is removing reminiscent of colonial subjugation, but then it's a vast term because President House was built by them also. ठीक है, so would we demolish that also? तो ये तो देखिए stupidity. I always say ये तो ज़्यादा ही हो गया. What I say is keep whatever is useful. It doesn't matter. Britishers made that, Muslims made that, I don't know, some animal made that. If it's useful, keep it. Don't care what is the source, as long as it is useful. Saying कि we will not have reminiscent of colonial subjugation, I think it's far-fetched. But ठीक है, उनका प्रण ले सकते हैं. ठीक है, clear? The 5 wars were taken. So these laws are the part of the reformation that Prime Minister talked about. Please remember this. Let's see what are the changes. Trial, appeal proceedings and recording and deposition. The biggest change that has been introduced because digital era we are living in. Now all the trials, appeals and petitioners deposition can be done in digital mode. ये अच्छा काम करा इन्होंने. because a lot of places what happens, you are not allowed to reach to the court. कोर्ट के बाहर आपने मूवियों में भी देखा होगा ना, दैट वो भारी फील्डिंग लगा के खड़े होते हैं. As long as soon as the person comes, they grab him and run away. So the best thing about here is you can deposit online in a trial format. तो आप जरूरत नहीं आने की. Another good thing is you cannot run away. US में has this provision, under trial other people, you will be in jail, confined to a proper conference hall, and a judge is there and he hears the argument online. There is no need to visit a courthouse. Good initiative. बात समझ में आया? तो this is a very good provision that now trials, appeal proceedings and recording of deposition, including those of public servant and police officer, मतलब from the government side, all can be done in electronic format. A very good initiative. Next, electronic issuance of summons, warrant, document. ये भी बहुत जरूरी था. Because what happens is most of the time police go to arrest and that person after arrest receives the summon कि you are about to be arrested in a week. This is the biggest problem. Intentionally what they do is, majority of the cases they intentionally send a summon late. Intentionally they will send a summon today with back date and it is shown as if we sent the summon month ago. So इसमें ये फायदा ये होगा because it is electronic issuance. As soon as the court issues an order, it will reach to everyone. Delay होता है, आप notice करना, when courts give an order, by the time authority execute that, there is a delay and that delay is very significant, especially in high profile cases. Delay करते जानबूझ के. अब फायदा क्या है? As long because it is electronic. A very good example you can take is आपका section 66A of IT Act, Information Technology Act. That act was declared, that provision, section 66A of IT Act was declared unconstitutional by Supreme Court. But even police today use that section to book people. So there is no law called section 66A which deals with if you send anything from an electronic device that is grossly offensive. If you send anything from an electronic device that is grossly offensive, it's a criminal offense. That section does not exist anymore, but still police in India files FIR in that. So itni to aware हमारे पास. The best thing is electronic issuance. समझ में आ रहा है? So these two provisions of reform are good. The legislation permits use of handcuff. Handcuff में remember the police cannot put a handcuff. Movie में कुछ भी दिखाते हैं, but a police cannot put a handcuff unless you are a flight risk. Until unless it's a heinous crime. And even in heinous crime, if you are a flight risk, matlab there are chances you can run away, then only handcuffs can be put on and you can be restrained. याद रखिएगा, police cannot use handcuff in any scenario except flight risk. अब इसमें क्या करा गया है? It can be used in case of repeated offenders, escapees, individual involved in organized crime. And organized crime मैंने आपको पहले भी समझा दिया था. Organized crime means a crime that has a proper structure. क्या? भाग नहीं सकता, भागेगा नहीं, बोलेगा ना आई एम कोऑपरेटिंग, लेके चलो. आजकल कैमरा लेके घूमते रहो. आई नो इट्स हार्ड टू प्रूव. कैसे प्रूव करोगे? बोल देंगे भाग रहा था. बट इसमें सबसे बड़ा फर्क ये होता है, इफ यू डू नॉट हैव अ केस अर्लियर पेंडिंग. मैंने आपको पहले भी समझाया था. If you do not have any criminal record, you can mess with anyone. तो उस समय उसकी तकलीफ बढ़ जाती है. If a police person arrests you and you have no criminal record, तो उसे प्रूव करना मुश्किल पड़ जाएगा कि तुम भाग रहे थे. Because you will be like, I have no criminal record, I was not running. अब depend, मैं फिर बोल रहा हूँ, depend करता है where you stand, what is the knowledge, what is the drama. ठीक है? और how well you are able to scare them. मैंने आपको समझाया था mad theory. If you are able to convince somebody you are mad, doesn't matter who person is, वो डर ही जाएगा. ठीक है, चलिए अगला देख लेते हैं. टाइम फ्रेम फॉर सबमिटिंग मर्सी पिटीशन. मर्सी पिटीशन इज ऑफन सबमिटेड व्हेन यू गेट अ डेथ पेनल्टी. डेथ पेनल्टी में मर्सी पिटीशंस आर सबमिटेड पर्टिकुलरली टू द प्रेसिडेंट एंड द गवर्नर. फॉर स्टेट लॉज गवर्नर, फॉर यूनियन लॉज प्रेसिडेंट. Death row convict, the legal heirs relative can lodge a mercy petition with the governor within 30 days. If the governor decision unfavorable, then an appeal to the president within 60 days. मतलब टोटल मान लीजिए लगभग 90 days. बट इसमें एक कैच है, it does not say when the governor or the president will take the decision. आप उन्हें फोर्स नहीं कर सकते ना, यू कैन नॉट फोर्स द प्रेसिडेंट और गवर्नर टू साइन समथिंग और नॉट टू साइन समथिंग. So that's the point here, but nonetheless nobody will obey this anyway. The bill established there shall be no scope for further appeal against the president's decision in any court. मतलब you are given death penalty, you will go to governor within 30 days. After that, if governor give the decision, after that within 60 days to the president. After president, you cannot go anywhere. Why it has been introduced? Because of Nirbhaya case. Nirbhaya case में those lawyers what they did is they abused this. अभी क्या होता है? If you go, you will reach to governor, then to the president, then you can file a review to the president. After that, if president gives unfavorable order, you can again go to Supreme Court to review the president's order. Then Supreme Court will give an order, you will file a review petition, curative petition, then numerous petitions. That's how those lawyers delayed the execution of offense. बात समझ में आता है? इसलिए करा गया है कि after president you cannot go to anywhere. But remember, यहाँ पे please remember, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होने वाला. क्यों? Because Indian courts, we have given them too much power. The particular power that we know is particular Supreme Court under Article 146, something we call special leave petition, SLP. Please remember this, the Indian Supreme Court and High Court enjoy SLP, special leave petition under Article 146 of the Constitution itself. Under this, the courts can entertain any petition whatsoever. But remember, it's the power of the court to entertain. It's not your right. तो कोर्ट मना भी कर सकता है कि मुझे इंटरेस्ट नहीं है. Remember, but कोर्ट ऐसा मना नहीं करते because they have a मसीहा complex. पहले भी मैंने आपको समझाया था. Next, the government is mandated to decide on the grant or rejection of sanctions within 120 days. Sanction for what? Sanctions for prosecution. अब ये क्यों लाया गया? Because of कन्हैया कुमार केस. जैसे प्रीवियस वाला निर्भया केस के चक्कर में था. This was because of कन्हैया कुमार, that टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग मेंबर. मैं नहीं कहता, पुलिस कहती है ऐसा. So that टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग मेंबर basically Delhi police is under Ministry of Home Affairs, particularly Amit Shah. But the prosecution in Delhi is under Kejriwal. There is a difference of power in Delhi. The police is with the center, but the prosecution power is with the state. Because of this, what happened is Kanhaiya Kumar was arrested by the police. Delhi government did not give the sanction for prosecution. So in spite of arrest, you cannot go to the court. Because court mein you have to have a government lawyer, and that comes from the state. बात समझ में आया? So what they are doing is, if sorry, हाँ वो तो कई रीजन से लाए हैं, ठीक है, वो भी ठीक है. बात समझ में आया? So if a government does not grant or reject the sanction within 120 days, it will be assumed it is deemed a sanction. अगर 120 दिन में आप सैंक्शन नहीं देते हैं गवर्नमेंट, तो मान लिया जाएगा कि सैंक्शन दे दिया गया है. If you are unable to give sanction within 120 days, it will be deemed as if the sanction has been given automatically. Clear सबको? ठीक है. Importantly, certain cases, including those related to sexual offences and trafficking, won't require the sanction for prosecution, expeding legal proceedings. मतलब, if you are involved in offences like sexual offence or trafficking, there is no requirement of sanctions. It will be automatically prosecuted. But in other cases, there will be a requirement of sanctions. 120 days is available. ठीक है सबको? Again, good provision if implemented. Next, preventive detention. किसी को पता है कौन सा आर्टिकल है? Article 22 of the Constitution deals with preventive detention. What is preventive detention? There are two kinds of detention: punitive and preventive. Punitive means you commit a crime, police, somebody files an FIR, or police suo moto arrest you, but after crime, then you are taken to the prison, trials happen, you are sanctioned a prison sentence, then you go to jail. This is called punitive punishment. One is, second is preventive punishment or detention. In this, you have not committed a crime yet, but the police arrest you nonetheless. अब रीजन क्या है? बहुत रीजंस हैं इसमें, बट इसमें रिमेंबर इट्स अ वेरी बिग इशू इन इंडिया. पर्टिकुलर लॉ दैट वी हैव इज NSA, National Security Act, that allows preventive detention in India. अब I don't know, it's maybe a hypocrisy or what, because when India was under British rule, the British government brought preventive detention laws known as Rowlatt Act. आप सबने शायद पढ़ा होगा मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री में. Rowlatt Act were brought. Gandhi ji carried out satyagraha, then Jallianwala Bagh massacre, everything followed. And उस समय में we were against preventive detention. And Nehru himself in 1936, while finding the civil liberty union, he said that independent India will have no black laws, but we have preventive detention in our constitution, that too in the chapter of fundamental rights. ऐसा कहीं नहीं मिलता. सबको समझ में आ रहा है? Preventive detention laws are very vast, very powerful, and very much used and abused. And no country has them. No liberal democracy I'm talking about. None of them have except India. The mother of democracy has it. That too in the constitution itself. को बात समझ आता है? It's a big problem. Nonetheless, जानी चाहिए. But they are keeping this. So क्या कर सकते हैं? Preventive detention empowers the police to detain or remove individual resisting, refusing, ignoring, disregarding direction issued as the part of preventive action. मतलब आप धरने पे बैठे हो, पुलिस ने मना किया तो आपको अरेस्ट कर सकती है अंडर प्रिवेंटिव डिटेंशन. तो ये प्रोविजन आई बिलीव बैड है, बाकी ठीक है. क्या प्रोसीजर होता होगा? एनएसए में नहीं है, यूएपीए में है. यूएपीए में ट्राइब्यूनल आते हैं, पर वो फिर पॉलिटी में डिटेल में जाएंगे. पर फिलहाल लॉजिक समझ में आया सबको प्रिवेंटिव डिटेंशन का? चलिए कंसर्न्स देख लेते हैं. The biggest concern that is always present in every law is, ये मैंने हमेशा समझाया आपको, it doesn't matter how beautiful the law sounds on the paper. If it is unimplementable, it is waste of time, money, and power. So you make these laws, if you're unable to enforce them, then what is the point? But ठीक है, चलता रहता है सब. Next, the emphasis on expeding trial verdict. ठीक है, आपने टाइम लिमिट फिक्स कर दिया कि ट्रायल इतने समय में होगा, गवर्नर पे इतना जाएगा, प्रेसिडेंट पे इतना जाएगा, फाइन. ट्रायल डिजिटल होगा, फाइन. बट व्हाट अबाउट द रिफॉर्म्स? हु विल ब्रिंग जुडिशियल रिफॉर्म? हु विल ब्रिंग पुलिस रिफॉर्म्स? उनके बिना इन सबका क्या फायदा? मैं पहले भी समझाया था, विदाउट जुडिशियल रिफॉर्म्स एंड पुलिस रिफॉर्म्स. पुलिस रिफॉर्म में पर्टिकुलरली द पुलिस मस्ट बी टेकन आउट फ्रॉम द हैंड ऑफ द पॉलिटिशियंस. Till it is under the control of the politician, it cannot be neutral, it cannot be efficient, it cannot be effective at any cost. See the case that if you see that farm protest happened. Farm protest mein there was the son of Minister of State Home chota home minister basically. That chota home minister's son, he ran his gadi, I think Thar was there, on some farmers. Okay, the police of UP, the JCB police, they did not have the power to arrest him. ठीक है, वो उसके घर पे गए, नोटिस लगाया, आराम से काम हुआ. अब इमेजिन द सेम केस विद अ कॉमनर. सबसे पहले उसका घर तोड़ते, फिर घर वालों को तोड़ते और फिर उसे तोड़ते. इट हैपेंस ना. दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम. द प्रॉब्लम इज यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट एक्सपीडिंग ट्रायल एंड वर्डिक्ट, फाइन, बट व्हाट अबाउट द रिफॉर्म्स इन पुलिस एंड जुडिशरी, विदाउट विच दीज आर नथिंग बट पेपर टॉक्स. You have written them on paper, but none of them will be implementable. So prime point of every reform that you will do in governance also, that bring reforms in police and judiciary first. Even the existing law can work better if you have police and judicial reforms, which nobody is interested as of now. ठीक है? Please remember that. बाकी टेक्नोलॉजी वगैरह बेकार है. ठीक, clear everyone? So again remember, ये law we will keep on doing them as more and more news become evident. Some provision we did in previous class, some we have done in this class, maybe next or next class. ठीक है? Next, National Medical Commission. It was created after abolition of a council. Anyway, it has granted fresh guidelines pertaining to the professional conduct. अब why? Because आजकल Instagram, Twitter पे बहुत लोग आ गए हैं, doctors, who keeps on giving kuch bhi advice. There's, for example, Corona time pe, there was a doctor, he said that there is a machine for taking some injection or something. He said you can use that like a ventilator. Kuch bhi. ठीक है, तो National Medical Council took an offense, so he put down the post. There's so many videos floating around social media जिसमें कोई भी कुछ भी claim कर रहा है. कपड़े पहन के आ गए white वाले, कुछ भी बोलते हैं. So ठीक है. So इसके लिए that is the guidelines are here. Apart from other things, the guidelines for registered medical practitioner is social media usage, of course. If you are sharing any information, it must be accurate and verifiable information. False content वगैरह होगा, you may be penalized and you cannot share patient images, videos or any content, because ये भी बहुत common हो गया. They keep on sharing patient images, videos. It's very common. It's violate their privacy. It should not be done. Next, this provision is contentious. Right to refuse treatment. The provision says the doctor have the right to refuse treatment to patient and their relative who exhibit abusive, unruly, violent behavior. ठीक है, genuine. But next does not appear very genuine. They can deny treatment to patient who cannot afford it. If you होता है ऐसे शौक लगते हैं कभी कभार. अब है तो है. So basically इसमें again governance comes into play. Governance में you will do medical issues and education issue in particular. तो वहां पे please understand this. This is what Amartya Sen has said. शायद मैंने पहले कभी बताया हो. Amartya Sen wrote an article with a particular person, Jean Race. मैंने पहले भी नाम बताया इस व्यक्ति का. So they gave an idea that India cannot uplift its people without having free compulsory education and free compulsory medical health. Basically, he's saying have one hospital for rich and poor, have one school for rich and poor. The rich people will make sure that the best of the facilities are available so that the poor people can take advantage. Because normally what happens in government hospitals and school, आपको पता है कौन जाने वाला है. You know who will go there? The poor people. So nobody take them serious. Particularly in government school, आप कहीं भी चले जाओ, कुछ भी हो रहा है वहाँ पे. Teacher is absent, बच्चे अपने आप में खेल रहे हैं, कुछ भी कर रहे हैं, लोग औरतें वहाँ पे स्वेटर बुन रही हैं, पता नहीं क्या कर रही हैं. This kind of things happens. They're on government payroll. The prime purpose of the doctor to serve the people, and the teacher is also to serve the people. But because both know the people who come in my school or my hospital are poor, if they will be connected, then why would they be here? So they have a relaxing element. एक तो dimension ये. Next dimension is there that they are too much burden. I agree. ठीक है, our doctors are too much burden. एक doctor 1000 patient. Same is with the schools. School में हमारे education teachers are like paid laborer. Government teachers like paid laborer. कुछ भी करवा रहे हैं. वैक्सीन लगवानी है तो वो जाएंगे, सेंसस होना है तो वो जाएंगे, कुछ भी सरकारी स्कीम होती है अनशन, टीचर्स हैव टू गो. तो गवर्नेंस में प्लीज रिमेंबर, until unless we have one school and one hospital for everyone, things cannot improve. Until unless we till the time we will keep on having good hospitals and school for the rich, this distance between the people will always increase. बात समझ में आ रहा? These are all governance initiatives. तो police reform, judicial reforms, education and hospitals. If you bring this reform, then we do not need supermans. हाँ. अपने हाथ में होगी भाई, इंस्टीट्यूशन होगा प्रॉपर अपॉइंट. वो कैसे हो सकता है? होता है, इमेजिनेशन में नहीं आ रहा होगा. देखिए, द थिंग इज, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल यूके वगैरह में, वहाँ पे द पुलिस इज ऑटोनमस. ऑटोनमस का मतलब हाउ द पुलिस विल वर्क, प्रॉपर रिक्रूटमेंट प्रोसेस. जैसे रिक्रूटमेंट प्रोसेस ठीक है हमारा, इतना बुरा भी नहीं है, बट द प्रॉब्लम इज अल्टीमेट कंट्रोल शुड नॉट बी अंडर द पॉलिटिशियंस. के लिए आप इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी में यू विल डू पुलिस रिफॉर्म्स. उसमें यू विल डू सुप्रीम कोर्ट 7 point judgment. Supreme Court gave 7 points of reforms. One of that reform was that create national complaint council and state complaint councils. What will happen in the state? There will be a council in which anyone can complain against police officers. आज हमें सबको लगता है कि पुलिस वालों के खिलाफ कंप्लेंट फायदी नहीं है, क्योंकि वो इन्वेस्टिगेट कर रहा है अपना ही क्राइम. So you will have a complaint commission that can take care. उसके अलावा you can have a commanding authority that will have DGP and some other officers. They can decide on posting and transfers. So reforms हैं, करे भी जा सकते हैं, but the thing is करने नहीं है. Because if you bring this reform, then people get empowered, and if people get empowered, then how will you ask for vote? अभी वोट कैसे मांगते हैं लोग? हम महिला सुरक्षा बढ़ा देंगे, हमें वोट दो. हमें आपसे महिला सुरक्षा नहीं चाहिए. We all we want is bring police reform. अपने आप आ जाएगी. बात समझ में आ रहा है? Bring police reform and judicial reform, female empowerment, जो भी आप बकवास करते हैं वो अपने आप हो जाएगा. But they do not do this ताकि वोट बनता रहे, वरना वोट कैसे करोगे तुम लोग? ठीक है, चलिए अगला पॉइंट. क्लियर है? मेडिकल में द थिंग इज दैट दे कैन डिनाई पेशेंट हु कैन नॉट अफोर्ड इट एक्सेप्ट इन मेडिकल इमरजेंसीज. So remember Amartya Sen. This is not very important, but remember Amartya Sen's theory and his argument regarding medical and health in India. Please. चलिए नेक्स्ट इज डिस्क्रिमिनेशन. अब ये पता नहीं कौन सा फूक के माल इन्होंने बनाया था ये. ओके, व्हाट इज रिटन हियर? नो डिस्क्रिमिनेशन ऑन सोशो इकोनॉमिक स्टेटस. उससे पहले क्या लिखा था? इफ अ पर्सन कैन नॉट अफोर्ड यू कैन डिनाई देम. तो इकोनॉमिक कैसे हुआ मुझे नहीं समझ आया. किसी को सेंस बना तो मुझे समझा देना क्लास के बाद. चलिए एनीवे दिस इज हाउ इट इज. नेक्स्ट, prescription and medication guidelines. It encourages prescription of generic medicine. This is important. This provision is very important. The prescription is that the doctors will prescribe generic medicine. What is generic medicine? Generic medicine means they are just like the patented medicine. There is something called patented. Patented means when you develop something of unknowns, when you develop something unknown and useful. मान लेते हैं you develop a new medicine, so of course you invested because developing medicine is a costly work. You employ scientists, you employ pura staff, they research, they develop candidates, you try them, a lot of candidates fails, then you retry. It's a heavy work, I agree, and it involves a lot of money. So for that we give patent. If you develop something new and useful, you get a patent. India it is given for 20 years. For 20 years only you can make that and only you can sell that, so that you can recover the money spent in the production of the commodity. सबको समझ में आया? That is called patent. Now what is the issue? The issue is, मान लेते हैं you developed a medicine that can help sick children. India में malaria is very common. ठीक है, मान लेते हैं you develop a medicine, by taking that medicine a sick children can become healthy. So question comes here is, if I give you patent, you will make it costly, obviously बात है. So at that point of time, health is important or your money is important. अब बड़ा confusing हो जाता है. देखिए इतना आसान नहीं है इसका जवाब देना. The reason, I agree, health is important, but imagine I am a private company. If I know that this government or this country, even if it gives me patent, anyone can manufacture my medicine, I will never invest on a disease of your country. बात समझ आए? It's not that easy. Majority of the world farmers are in West. And why there is no vaccine even for dengue? आज भी नहीं है. Dengue के लिए we have no vaccine, no medicine. Why? Because it's a tropical disease. It does not affect rich countries very much. Majority of the dengue cases are concentrated in developing world. So why would they invest? बात समझ में आ रही है? I am a private company. I will invest in a medicine manufacturing or production only and only if I know I can recover the money. The incentive here is profit. If you force me to not have the profit, I will not invest in the disease that you suffer from. So we have to balance both of that. For that we have brought Patent Act 1970. This act says that anyone who manufacture a new and useful product, particularly medicine I'm talking about, you can get a 20 years license. In that license, only you can manufacture, only you can sell. So assumption is you will be able to recover entire money. बात समझ में आई? चलिए ठीक है. But that the same law, there is a provision here जो नीचे से ट्रिप्स प्लस में लिखा होगा, देखना ट्रिप्स प्लस है ना. हाँ ये लिखा हुआ है ट्रिप्स प्लस. थोड़ा मैं डिटेल में समझा देता हूँ, then we will move ahead. It's very important. मैं फिर कह रहा हूँ, it's very important. It touches multiple chapters and multiple topics. TRIPS plus, an agreement called TRIPS. TRIPS means trade related intellectual property rights. Intellectual property आप समझ गए? IPRs, a right to protect your intellectual property. Intellectual property माने a property that is the outcome of your mind. ठीक है? So to protect that you get IPRs. Patent is one type of IPR. There are numerous types like copyright. Copyright is also a kind of IPR. Trademarks, design protection. So there are different kind of copyrights. IPR. One of them is patent. So we are talking about patent. India में patents are governed under Patent Act 1970. That is enacted to balance two things. Pehla, the right of the company to generate profit and the public health as well. So this law says you can keep on manufacturing, you can create a new medicine, get a patent, exploit for 20 years, except in certain circumstances. Something, इसमें नाम नहीं है, something they call इसको प्लीज रिमेंबर एवरीवन, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Section 3D, what it is? It is called efficacy clause. It's very important in India-US relations. Yes, number efficacy clause. Efficacy clause. What is this efficacy clause? This clause says that a known medicine can be repatented. A known medicine can be repatented only and only if there is enhanced efficacy. जैसे मान लेते हैं, you brought a medicine to weaken the symptom of dengue. You patented, you got it. After 20 years, if you want to repatent the medicine, the question is, why would you do that? So as to continue exploiting it. If you will get new patent, so nobody can manufacture it. Again patent. So this is called evergreening of patents. इसमें है ट्रिप्स प्लस में लिखा हुआ है. This is called evergreening of patents. यहाँ तक सबको समझ में आ रहा है? So to avoid evergreening of patent, we have a provision called Section 3D efficacy clause. This says you can repatent a known type only if there is enhancement of efficacy. You have to prove that. A majority of the company, what they do is, it can be patented if effectiveness is increased. There are parameters. Effectiveness का मतलब ये नहीं है. There are parameters in the rules, patent rules, that decide what do we mean by effectiveness. The patent general will decide this. Anyway, this is the biggest issue between India and US. US wants India to remove efficacy clause. But the problem is, if we remove efficacy clause, then a large number of medicine, जो आप खाते हैं ना, PCM, VCM लेते फिरते हैं 10-10 रुपए की, same medicine will go to 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees. Very good example is, there was a drug developed by Bayer's Corporation, German corporation. A drug name Novartis or something tha. That drug was an anti-cancer drug. That drug cost 2 lakh rupee per month. The cost of that anti-cancer drug was 2 lakh rupee per month. अब सोचिए, and government of India then gave a license to an Indian manufacturer to mass manufacture that, and that person produced the same product at around 1,500 rupees per month. So from 2 lakh to 1,500, and इसी को हम बोलते हैं compulsory license. इसमें शायद mention है ये वाला. तो दो चीजें समझ में आई सबको, efficacy clause and compulsory license. So efficacy clause prevent evergreening of medicine, जो I think इसमें कहीं पे लिखा होगा, ये रहा, patent longer than 20 years. So section 3D prevents evergreening of patents, that is patent longer than 20 years, and compulsory license protect the health emergencies. आपको समझ आ रहा है? अब what is compulsory license? Compulsory license means when government feels that your medicine is too costly or it has not worked in India, so government can ask any other manufacturer to make the same medicine even if you have a patent. दोबारा मैं बताता हूँ, patent में क्या होता है? हाँ, patent में what happens is, you make medicine, you get 20 years patent, you exclusively do it. But in compulsory license, government can ask any third party to make your medicine, which is still in patent, violating your patent. Such things are called compulsory license. अब इसमें आपको क्या मिलेगा? एक रॉयल्टी, बस. जितना वो मेडिसिन, whatever medicines they will sell, they will give you a part of the profit. मान लेते हैं 1%, 2%, whatever the government decides. अब यूएस क्या चाहता है? यूएस चाहता है that India should do away with compulsory license. India should provide longer patents. And why is it so? Because US is a proper neoliberal country. पहले भी समझाया था मैंने आपको, US is a proper neoliberal country. Neoliberal means it's a philosophy, ideology that says, neoliberalism basically says that everything shall be determined by market. That is, market is God. Market fundamentalism. State should not intervene for anything. दोनों इश्यूज आपको समझ में आए? And the medicine manufactured after patent or through compulsory license are known as generic medicines. They are cheaper, efficient, effective and exact replica of a patented medicine. हाँ, जैसे आपने कई बार इफ यू गो टू अ मेडिकल स्टोर तो वो क्या बोलता है, मैम और सर आई डू नॉट हैव दिस मेडिसिन बट सेम सॉल्ट की दूसरी है. वो यही समझाना चाह रहा है कि देयर इज अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन अ पेटेंट, जो आप मांग रहे हैं इट्स अ पेटेंटेड मेडिसिन आई डोंट हैव, पर सेम मेरे पे एक और है जो दूसरे नाम से आती है, इट इज चीपर आल्सो. तो व्हाट इज दैट मेडिसिन? जेनेरिक. सबको जेनेरिक का समझ में आया? ठीक है, प्लीज रिमेंबर दैट. तो these provisions are allowed under an agreement known as TRIPS. TRIPS was it? TRIPS. TRIPS is an agreement at the level of WTO. TRIPS is an agreement at the level of WTO that allows countries to have flexibility like this. ठीक है? अब what is TRIPS plus? TRIPS plus is in demand. It's an idea. It's not an agreement. TRIPS is an agreement under WTO. TRIPS plus is an idea or a demand of developed countries from developing countries. And what are the demand? Number one, that you should grant patent longer than 20 years. You should not use compulsory license. You should provide data exclusivity. मतलब you will not share my data, medicine data to somebody else to manufacture. Next, limit on parallel import. अब ये क्या होता है? Let's take an example. Same drug, Bayer Corporation anti-cancer drug, that cost 2 lakh rupee in India. Same drug by Bayer Corporation cost, for example, 1 lakh rupee in South Africa. So under parallel import, this is provided in patent law. India, rather than buying that drug from Bayer Corporation in India, we can import from South Africa. समझ आया? पैरेलल इंपोर्ट क्या होता है? When a medicine is available at two different prices in two countries, then a country has the flexibility to import rather than buy. That is called parallel import. तो US क्या चाहता है? Limitations on parallel import. So it does not want us to give compulsory license. It wants we should not use parallel import. It wants that we should provide license longer than 20 years. It wants we should not use efficacy clause. Apart from that, it wants that India should give utility patent. Utility patent माने हल्का पुल्का improvement. You bought a medicine, it मान लेते हैं you have to take 2 days. The tablet you have to take morning and the evening for 7 days. Now you have to take only one time for 7 days. It's a minor improvement. Why you do that? So that you can extend your license again. The longer the license, the longer only you can manufacture, you can exploit. But the problem is, if it will stay in patent forever, it will never become cheaper. And if it is not cheaper, then how it will help the other people? सबको समझ में आ रहा है? Everyone cannot buy costly medicine, of course. ठीक है, clear everyone so far? ये सारा मैंने इसमें देखिए एग्जाम्पल लिखा है, आप पढ़ लेना. ठीक है, इसी को बोलते हैं एवरग्रीनिंग, जो मैंने आपको समझाया. और ये बहुत बड़ा इशू है, प्लीज रिमेंबर, इट्स अ वेरी बिग इशू इन WTO. TRIPS plus is a very important issue in WTO and it's a big point of debate and aggression between India and US. हम दोनों के बीच सबसे बड़ी लड़ाई में इसका हिस्सा है. ठीक है, रिमेंबर दिस एग्रीमेंट, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. और ये सारी मेडिसिन मैंने आपको बताया जेनरिक. हाँ, सेक्शन 3D says that, जैसे मैंने आपको एग्जांपल समझाया, you had a medicine, you patented it for 20 years. Now you want to exploit it further, but section 3D says to repatent an existing known formulation, you require enhancement of efficacy. मान लेते हैं, I will say that earlier that medicine only used to stop the symptoms. This time it has to cure the disease. Otherwise you cannot patent it. But what developed countries want? They want कि I want to patent it nonetheless. समझा? 3D क्या कर रहा है? 3D helps India. It helps developing country like India to ensure welfare. In this, you can praise India's earlier founding fathers and mothers, because maybe independence का जो भी सीन चल रहा हो, but मैंने आपको एक चीज समझाया था. Earlier starting leaders, they understood one thing. India is a big country with a lot of poors. We're a big country with a lot of poors who cannot afford costly branded medicine in America. First thing. Second thing, we knew that we are a poor country, so we cannot invest in research and development. Research and development is a very costly affair. So we thought, why shouldn't we invest in the second best? The second best was mass manufacture. And based on that, India is the world's 7th largest exporter of medicines in the world. Jabki our research and development capacity is very low. Majority of Africa, I would say at least 80 to 90% of African, entire continent of Africa depends on us for their survival. And not only them, the majority of Indians depend on us. Our generic industry is not only helping the other countries, particularly African countries, it is helping Indians also. अब imagine कीजिए, you have seen the rickshaw pullers and all. अब वो बुखार आता है, they go to a they do not go to a doctor, they go to a medical shop. That person gives them 10 or 20 rupees का सारा सामान दे देता है, 3-4 मेडिसिन देता है, and they get treated. अब सोचिए, if these medicines are branded, patented, 20-30 रुपए में तो वो आधी टैबलेट भी नहीं दे पाएगा. बात समझे? तो यहाँ पे ये प्रॉब्लम है. We have to balance two things: public welfare versus corporate greed. That is and Section 3D creates that divide. Section 3D creates a divide between profit that a corporate must have and the greed that they want. These sections are not available in US. US में any medicine can be sold at any prices. There was a particular notorious person, मुझे नाम ध्यान नहीं आ रहा. He bought a company. That company was manufacturing a very critical cancer drug. As soon as he bought the company, he increased the price of that medicine 20 times. He became the hated figure in America, but nonetheless, nobody could do anything. The reason was because America is a purely neoliberal country. Government controls are weak. बात समझ में आ रहा है सबको? And currently, we also have a neoliberal government, and that's why we have no compulsory license since then. ठीक है? Last compulsory license was issued way long. चलिए, anyway, clear है सबको? Please remember, मैं फिर कह रहा हूँ, it's a very, very, very important point. So, prescription of medication guideline, it encourages the prescription of generic medicine, promoting cost-effective healthcare and accessibility to patient. मैंने आपको समझा दिया how does it work. Apart from वो ये है कि educate them the difference between generic and educate the patient कि generic and branded are the same thing and all. There is another problem, particularly in private hospitals. Private hospital में if you go, they always prescribe branded medicine. Private hospital में they never prescribe generic medicines. Contract नहीं होता उनका, हफ्ता बंदा होता है. The thing is, if you have gone to a private hospital, I believe आप सभी जाते होंगे, तो private hospital में outside the chamber of the doctor आपने बहुत से लोग देखो बैग के साथ. These are called MRs, medical representatives, medical representative of pharma companies. The pharma companies pays them salary for only one purpose. They go to a doctor, they convince that doctor to prescribe their medicine only. Of course, बदले में चीजें भी मिलती हैं. And doctors मतलब कुछ भी मांगते हैं और कुछ भी मिलता भी है, ऐसा नहीं है. Luxurious resort से लेके luxurious trip and whatever you can demand, you get it. Only thing you did in return is you have to prescribe their medicine only. This is not allowed in government. Government में MRs cannot even enter. ठीक है? तो अब question is, then why there is a resistance for generic medicine? The one problem in generic medicine is efficacy. Same efficacy we talked about. If you take generic medicine, you may have to take 2 full tablet or maybe 3 full tablet to achieve the same potency of a half tablet of a branded medicine. Why is it so? Because of government failure. Generic medicine in theory are exact replica of branded except the name. But in reality, these manufacturers, they intentionally keep the efficacy or potency down because they are to sold cheaper. They intentionally keep the efficacy down, and that's why they do not work very well. So इसमें again मैं कह रहा हूँ, it's not a fault of the medicines or the doctor prescribing that. It is the fault of the government. It is unable to make sure that these pharma companies do not do this, and that's why there is a resistance to generic medicine. So it's very important. IR, WTO, that is economy में, and also in your society, paper 1 particularly. Ethics में तो है ही. चलिए, clear है सबको? All the dimensions here. Next is National Medical Commission. Do not go in detail. Just remember, it is a statutory body established under the National Medical Commission Act 2019 replacing MCI. बस. Just remember that it's a statutory body. मतलब it's a body made by the law of Parliament. It has replaced MCI, and what it does, it regulates medical education in India, as well as it registers the practitioner of medicines known as doctors. ठीक है, maintains database. W TRIPS plus very 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 important. Please remember that all the provisions here. चलिए आगे चलते हैं. डिमांड है, सजेशन नहीं करता वो कभी, सीधा डिमांड करता है. जेनेरिक मेडिसिन बाकी मैंने आपको बताई दिया, इसमें लिखा हुआ है, यू कैन रीड बाय योरसेल्फ, एवरीथिंग इज हियर, द क्वालिटी एंड एवरीथिंग दैट आई टोल्ड यू इज रिटन हियर. ठीक है, यू कैन रीड योरसेल्फ. चलिए, तो दिस न्यूज इज ओवर, लेट्स मूव टू नेक्स्ट वन. भारत एनकैप. Bharat NCAP, because NCAP we don't like, it's foreign propaganda. So we have Bharat NCAP. NCAP is the safety standard. You hear na, nowadays this car is 5-star, 4-star. These are called safety rating. These are given by an agency called NCAP, Global NCAP. So to replace that, we have brought Bharat NCAP. कहाँ गया Global NCAP? Here is Global NCAP. It's later in the note. So it's a UK-based NGO known as Towards Zero Foundation. It's aimed to rate vehicles, car I am talking about, from 1 to 5. So based on that, recently Ministry of Road Transport and Highways has introduced an Indian version of NCAP, an Indian version of Global NCAP. Actually, when NCAP came, na, आप कह सकते हैं, it was a blessing in disguise. Because when NCAP came, I think 16 or 17 में आया था, not even a single car in India was on NCAP. All failed, irrespective of the manufacturer. So at least when Global NCAP came, it brought some understanding among the people. Now you have all car manufacturers, they brand their cars. The safest car in India. Right now it is XUV 300. किसने? वो क्या भेजेंगे वो डब्बे को? मिलते नहीं है. देखिए, मारुति सुजुकी simply says, I am giving you a cheaper car. You either want a costly car, then buy a good rating. Cheaper car दे रहे हैं, सब कुछ दे रहे हैं. Cost effective cars. Maruti Suzuki has the most cost effective cars. ठीक है, अपनी अपनी मर्जी है. So anyway, so clear है सबको, Global NCAP was necessary in terms of passenger safety. And why is it so? Because India में we are very good drivers. ठीक है, Indian drives very well. ठीक है, तो पहाड़ों पर भी मजे में दौड़ाते हैं गाड़ियां. तो for that they brought this. अब जल्दी से देख लेते हैं what is this. It will take effect from October 1st, 2023 से it will be implemented. The proper name is Bharat New Car Assessment Program. It's a domestic version of the Global NCAP. बाकी तो मैंने आपको बता दिया था कि इंडिया में 10% of global road crash happens in India, जबकि इंडिया के पास केवल 1% of world's vehicle है, because of our good driving standards and civic sense. ठीक है, we have achieved this high feast. Scope and criteria, let's see quickly. It will cover all passenger vehicles with maximum of 8 seats, excluding driver seats. Gross weight, not very important to remember. Just remember it covers passenger vehicles. ठीक है. Safety, there are 3 safety here: adult, child, and safety assisted technology. That airbag and all. This year question came on safety assisted technology prelims में. अगर आपको idea, prelims में question came about this. हाँ, heavy drivers, yes. With respect to this, airbags. Is a prelims there was a question how airbags are employed, what technology is used there. So science and tech में one criteria, remember, UPSC will not ask a question that is out of practice. Science and tech में question, because if you have seen the syllabus, वहाँ पे साफ लिखा है general awareness of science and tech that does not require specialization. It is mentioned in the syllabus. Basically, they want you to be aware of the things that you use. इस बार के if you look at the science and tech question, they were very general. They asked how this fish tanks wala, fish tank में recycling system works. They asked how if you flip your screen, then it goes from portrait to landscape, na, how it happens. The airbags in the car, the thing that you use every day, but still you never cared how they works. So science and tech, please remember, know the things that is around you, particularly the technology that you use, what is OS, what is phone, what is Android, what is, not deep details, a very generalistic idea. समझ में आ रहा है सबको? यूपीएससी ने इस बार डायरेक्टली पूछा था. तो सेफ्टी एज ए टेक्नोलॉजी लाइक एयर बैग्स एंड ऑल, जो भी ड्रामे होते हैं उनमें आजकल. It will be voluntary, remember, for manufacturer except for certain. Basically a popular vehicle, कहने का मतलब मारुति के लिए प्रॉब्लम शुरू होने वाली है, because base model of popular variant with minimum sale of 30,000, और मारुति की से ज्यादा ही होगी वो. इट्स अ वेरी हैवी ड्राइवर व्हीकल. चलिए एनीवे क्लियर है. तो ग्लोबल एनकैप. अब लेट्स सी व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस क्विकली. variety of cars, it applies to CNG and EV also. जबकि global NCAP right now does not have electric vehicles in them. It covers electric vehicles also. It provides single unified rating. जबकि global NCAP में you have different rating. For adult safety, for child safety, there are different ratings. यहाँ पे you will have a unified rating. So these are the things. Clear? फायदा क्या होगा मतलब? एक जनरल ओवरव्यू मिल जाएगा, जैसे 5 स्टार है, 4 स्टार है, और क्या. सेपरेट में ये होता है, यू हैव, इफ यू आर अ नर्डी काइंड ऑफ पर्सन, तो यू कैन हैव बेटर डिटेल कि अडल्ट में 5 है, चाइल्ड में 4 है. एक्चुअली व्हाट हैपेंस, एवरीवन जस्ट ब्रांड द मैक्सिमम दे गेट. अडल्ट में 5 इज इजी. जैसे आई थिंक इंडिया में सेफेस्ट कार इज XUV 300 सो फार. The safest was Mahindra's cars are safest and Tata's cars are safest. Out of that, I think XUV 300 has the best rating of 5 in adult, 4 point something in child. अब यहाँ पे क्या होगा? There will be one rating, 4 or 5, जो पसंद हो ले लेना. Anyway, clear? So please, छोटा सा, that news is not very important, but ठीक है. Please remember what is global NCAP, what is Bharat NCAP, who publishes them, what are the differences. Prelims में it can be asked, mains के लिए it is useless. Nobody will ask in mains. ठीक है? This is something which is very, 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 very important for both prelims, mains and interview. This is based on national education policy, a significant reform in education in India. National curriculum framework. The National Council of Education, Research and Training, short में NCERT, has recently unveiled the first version of National Curriculum Framework. Of course, it will bring some change under what? National Education Policy 2020. Both of these are very important. You need to know National Education Policy in detail. Because 2020 mein when this policy came, UPSC asked National Education Policy in 3 papers. Not only 1 paper. In 3 papers, the question was directly from National Education Policy, including ethics. It's that important. They asked, I think, in paper 1, paper 2, and ethics. Thank God उन्होंने economics छोड़ा था. हो सकता है तो उसमें भी पूछ लेते. वो significant event है. So please know this in detail. It will target from 3rd to 12th class within the CBSE system. आपको पता है under new education policy or the National Education Policy system has changed. अभी तक क्या होता था? You have till 10th, then you have to select whatever you select. अब वो बदल गया है. The system is 355 something हो गया है. अभी देखेंगे नीचे लिखा हुआ है. सिस्टम बदल गया है. अब वो नहीं होता जैसे you have to take branch ना, science, commerce, वो भी नहीं है अब. After 10th, you do not have to take any branches. You have to take selection of courses, subjects, and grouping of subjects. There will be grouping, and you can choose subject from different groupings. History with maths, whatever you want to do. Very good initiative. मैंने आपको पहले मतलब whosoever will teach you governance, वहाँ पे you will do a committee was appointed by Education Ministry known as यशपाल committee. That committee gave a concept, जो मैंने आपको पहले भी बताया था, cubicalization of knowledge. It said what is the problem in India is we have the best of doctor, best of engineer, best of banker and everything, but we do not have best of citizens. The reason is these people know everything what is going in their field. मान लेते हैं doctor will know everything what is happening in a body, but does not know what is happening in the society because he has no idea about constitution, he has no idea about political science. So what committee said is this is called cubicalization of knowledge. Within the cube you know everything, outside the cube you have nothing. So they said there should be bridge courses. Do not force them to study. If somebody wants to study medicine, do not force them to study humanities, but provide them some part of humanity, maybe as optional. Your medicine subject will be compulsory and counted. The humanity subject will be non-compulsory and non-counted, but must qualified. जैसे यूपीएससी में you have ना सीसेट. तो दिस तरीके से यू कैन डू, इट्स नेसेसरी. लोगों को पता ही नहीं उनके राइट्स के बारे में, कुछ भी बोल रहे हैं 15 अगस्त क्यों सेलिब्रेट होता है पता नहीं. वो है ना, वो रिसेंटली एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर कौन था, ही सेड वी विल वेलकम चंद्रयान व्हेन इट विल कम बैक. मतलब कुछ भी. और देयर वाज अ स्पोर्ट मिनिस्टर राजस्थान में, तो 2 कदम आगे, ही सेड आई प्रे फॉर द सेफ्टी ऑफ द पैसेंजर ऑफ चंद्रयान. है हाँ, एक रास्ता को कांग्रेस किया. तो ये these are the people who are classical example of cubicalization knowledge. They are expert politicians. They know everything about the politics, but they have not even a basic sense of civics. ऐसे लोगों के लिए what we want is bridge courses. समझ में आ रहा है? Very good idea. So let's see what are the key aspects. All are very, very, very important. ठीक है, please know them. Language from 9 to 10th. Now you have to compulsory study 3 language. Up till now there were only 2 languages compulsory. One is English, other is any native language. Okay, that was compulsory. You can have 3, you can have as many language you want, but 2 were compulsory for now. अब क्या होगा? 3 language will be compulsory from 9 to 10th, out of which 2 will be native Indian language. In 11th and 12th, same old method will be there. 2 language, out of which 1 will be Indian. So it's a significant change. Up till now it was only English, regional language. Okay, you have English, Hindi and regional language. Now they will be compulsory 3 languages. So it will be better, and I hope this combination should include a blend. For example, North Indian को South की सिखाओ, South वालों को North की सिखाओ. किसमें 3 लैंग्वेज फॉर्मूला ओल्ड था, लेकिन इसमें कंपलसरी 2 थी. अब इसमें क्या होगा, 3 कंपलसरी हो गई. डिफरेंस ये है, पहले 3 था, बट दैट वाज फॉर गवर्नमेंट फंक्शनिंग. जो आप कह रहे हैं थोड़ा कंफ्यूज कर रहे होंगे. एजुकेशन में 2 वर देयर. द नेटिव लैंग्वेज मान लेते हैं, और इन तमिलनाडु, तो तमिलनाडु में हिंदी नहीं सिखाई जाएगी, वहां पे तमिल और इंग्लिश. बट फॉर गवर्नमेंट फंक्शनिंग यू विल हैव द रीजनल लैंग्वेज, मे बी तमिल और व्हाटएवर, हिंदी एंड इंग्लिश. दैट्स फॉर ऑफिशियल वर्क्स. ठीक है, समझ में आ रहा है? नाउ फॉर एजुकेशन यू विल हैव 3 लैंग्वेज, बट इसमें ऑफ कोर्स जैसे इन्होंने कहा संस्कृत ना सिखाई जाए, संस्कृत उर्दू विच हैज एक्सपायर्ड. टीच प्रैक्टिकल लैंग्वेज ऑफ टुडे जो बोली जाती है. मे बी पिक अ साउथ लैंग्वेज फॉर नॉर्थ इंडियंस, पिक अ नॉर्थ लैंग्वेज फॉर साउथ इंडियंस, अ काइंड ऑफ ब्लेंडिंग, ताकि किसी को बुरा ना लगे. बिहार बोर्ड सबसे आगे है ना. चलिए अगला देख लेते हैं. बोर्ड एग्जाम्स एंड इवेल्युएशन. स्टूडेंट विल हैव द अपॉर्चुनिटी टू अपीयर फॉर दिस एग्जाम एट लीस्ट ट्वाइस. ये भी अच्छा है. हाँ, यू कैन अपीयर मोर टाइम्स आल्सो नाउ. ऑन डिमांड एग्जाम हैव बीन इंट्रोड्यूस्ड नाउ. तो अब नाउ यू हैव टू गो फॉर, अभी क्या होता है, एनुअल एग्जाम्स यू गिव. नाउ यू कैन गिव एग्जाम 2 times. The advantage is whichever time you will get the more marks, that will be counted. मान लेते हैं you gave in mid and then in the last, so wherever you will get the more marks, that will be counted. उसके अलावा एक और प्रोविजन इंट्रोड्यूस करने की कोशिश है, अभी नहीं है. ऑन डिमांड एग्जाम. The logic is whenever you demand, exam will be there. चलिए, एनीवे, चेंजेस इन मैंडेटरी एंड ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट्स ये भी बदल दिए गए हैं. अभी तक आपको पता हो बेस्ट ऑफ 5 चलता था. Up till today the mechanism was the best of 5 was the counting marks. Now there is best of 6. From class 9 to 10 student will now require to study 7 mandatory subject. ठीक है, क्लास उसमें नीचे आएगा. एंड फ्रॉम 11 to 12 6. Now 7 are mandatory up till 10th, and 11th 12th में 6 subjects are mandatory. The marks This marks an increase from the previous model where मैंने आपको पहले ही बताया था there was only 5. Now there will be 7 and 6. ठीक है, please remember them. Optional grouping जो मैंने आपको समझाया था, that bridge courses. One are the subject you have to study. मान लेते you want to study medicine, but there are some other subject which you can take, which will be an add-on. So these are called optional subject. They have been classified into 3 groups. Group 1 में it will include like art, physical education and vocational education. Group 2 में it will incorporate humanities basically, and third में science based. मतलब इसी में आएगा थर्ड में साइंस, मैथमेटिक्स, कॉमर्स वगैरह. ठीक है, तो these are the 3 groups. Out of this, I believe the most important is vocational education. When you will do governance, वहां पे एक प्रॉब्लम समझेंगे. The biggest problem in India is that majority of Indians have degrees but no skill. मैंने आपको पहले भी समझाया था. Structural unemployment. Indians are structurally unemployed. And why? Because you do not have the skills. And why? Because you do not go for vocational educations. You do not go for ITIs. Perception is ITI and vocational education is an education for the poor, the people who are less talented. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Country like Germany makes compulsory. For example, you want to become a civil engineer. Before that, they will make you a worker of laborer. They will physically make you to lay the bricks and cement and all. After that, you can become a civil engineer. The reason is there should be a connect between the books and the land. ये मैंने आपको अपने पर्सनल एग्जांपल से बताया था. अपने दोस्त का जो एग्जांपल मैंने आपको बताया, इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर सो कॉल्ड. ठीक है, ठीक है. he was called to fix a regulator for the fan. He kept on finding flux. पूरे घर में वो ढूंढता रहा, where the flux is leaking. मुझे नहीं पता क्या होता है. ठीक है, but then a mechanic was called. He fixed that within minutes. The difference is one is BTech, अब तो MTech हो गया. ठीक है, one is BTech and now MTech, and other is just a mechanic who may be 10th or 12th pass, but he knows better practical application than him. Difference is skills. He has bookish knowledge, which is a lot. He has practical skills. It should be clubbed. समझ में आ रहा है? तो vocational educations and ITIs are very important. Majority of the parents करवाते नहीं है, वो एक अलग बात है. चलिए, क्लियर है. नेक्स्ट, फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी. ये मैंने आपको पहले बता दिया. नाउ देयर विल बी नो रिजिड बाउंड्रीज. साइंस, कॉमर्स, आर्ट्स नहीं होगा. यू कैन चूज ग्रुपिंग्स. ग्रुपिंग्स हमने बताया 3 ग्रुपिंग्स हैं. यू कैन क्लब सब्जेक्ट्स बिटवीन देम. इट्स अ गुड इनिशिएटिव, आई बिलीव. कोई बहुत से लोग होते हैं, दे वांट टू स्टडी डिफरेंट सब्जेक्ट बट दे आर फोर्स्ड. आपको मेडिसिन करना है तो यू हैव टू टेक दिस सब्जेक्ट्स ओनली. तो यू वांट टू टेक अदर कॉम्बिनेशन, पर ले नहीं पाते हैं. ठीक है, पढ़ने वालों के लिए हो रहा है. हाँ,
if a less informed student chooses a subject combination, makes him unemployable in future, then that can also impact the education.
बिल्कुल, yes it can. इसीलिए तो हमने बोला कि this is the thing that we are saying is foundational problem. इसके तो अमर्त्य सिंह suggestions have one school for both, because the problem is again these are good on paper. For a government school going kid, nothing of them is very useful. उसको कुछ पता ही नहीं, आधी बातें तो होंगी. एंड गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय आप पता नहीं मुझे, पर कुछ गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स में गवर्नमेंट प्रोवाइड टीचर्स हु काउंसिल स्टूडेंट्स आल्सो. प्राइवेट में तो प्रॉपर काउंसलिंग इज अवेलेबल, गवर्नमेंट में इट इज नॉट अवेलेबल. तो वही वाली प्रॉब्लम है, फाउंडेशनल प्रॉब्लम, सेम जो हमने स्टार्टिंग में बात की थी. बड़ी बड़ी बातें बिल में लिखने से कुछ नहीं होने वाला. यू नीड पुलिस रिफॉर्म्स एंड जुडिशियल रिफॉर्म टू चेंज द सिनेरियो. इवन विद एग्जिस्टिंग लॉज you will see a changed India if you bring 2 reforms. Same is here. ये सब बकैती करने की बजाय if you bring simple सा reform, make some better education. Most important, do not treat your teachers like a paid laborer. और मैंने पहले भी समझा था, टीचर्स, आंगनवाड़ी वर्कर्स, प्री स्कूल एंड न्यूट्रिशन के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, एंड आशा वर्कर्स, दे आर द फुट सोल्जर्स ऑफ इंडिया. इफ यू ट्रीट देम वेल, इंडिया विल गेट ट्रीटेड ऑटोमेटिकली. Asha, but none of them are treated very well. Asha workers, I believe आपको पता होगा. Asha workers who go to house and provide village facilities. Asha workers, they are very important. द वैक्सीन कोरोना टाइम पे दे एडमिनिस्टर्ड वैक्सीन, मोदी जी नहीं गए थे वैक्सीन लगाने, एंड द बिलबोर्ड सेज थैंक यू मोदी जी. That billboard should have said thank you ASHA workers, because it would have become an honorable thing. Honor is very important there. तो छोटे मोटे रिफॉर्म्स हैं, बट मैं फिर हर बार बोलता हूँ हमें बड़े रिफॉर्म्स की जरूरत कभी नहीं. मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम दैट यू सी अराउंड यू कैन बी ट्रीटेड बाय स्मॉल चेंजेस. पर स्मॉल चेंजेस करेगा कौन ये नहीं पता किसी को. चले देखते हैं आगे. क्लियर? चलिए आगे देखते हैं. नेक्स्ट इज, हाँ क्या था, द बाउंड्रीज बिटवीन एकेडमिक्स एंड vocational subject. वही मैंने आपको बताया, you can take your academic subject plus vocational if you want to take, plus there will be no difference academic streams in science, social science, physical education and all. So there will be clubbing of subject, there will be clubbing. Only thing that you have to remember is there will be grouping, group 1, group 2, group 3. You can select subjects out of them. ठीक है. Last is environmental education, very necessary nowadays, because environment, climate change is a very integral part, so it will be introduced compulsorily and integrated throughout entire school education. Along with this, there should be another book, Civic Sense, which should be integrated along with ethics. These are two subjects more which should be the part of school education as long as you are part of education system. जब तक आप मरोगे नहीं तब तक ethics तो सिखानी जरूरी होता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल ethics यूपीएससी के अलावा मुझे तो याद नहीं कहीं पे है. मेडिकल में है थोड़ी, मेडिकल में there's a proper chapter, proper book on ethics. Apart from that ज्यादा जगहों पे ethics नहीं पढ़ाई जाती, which is very 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 necessary. Anyway, clear? अब ये क्या है आगे? अच्छा, कंटेंट बदल दिया गया है. देखो ऐसा कंटेंट होगा सोशल साइंस में, ये भी बढ़िया चीज है. सोशल साइंस बेसिकली ह्यूमैनिटीज वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट. द कंटेंट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन विल बी 20% सोर्स फ्रॉम लोकल लेवल. विच लोकल लेवल आई डोंट नो. 30% फ्रॉम रीजनल, 30% फ्रॉम नेशनल एंड 20% फ्रॉम ग्लोबल. पर्सपेक्टिव तो ठीक है, लेकिन लोकल कौन सा वाला लोकल? मराठा वाला लोकल, ऑल इंडिया हिंदू महासभा वाला लोकल, या कांग्रेस वाला लोकल? तो ठीक है, जो भी है. क्लियर है? प्लीज गो होम, रिवाइज इट अगेन. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट है. प्लीज नो दिस एजुकेशन रिफॉर्म एंड दिस पॉलिसी, नो इट बाय हार्ट. All the provisions. Let's see quickly what the provisions are. It has replaced the earlier education policy. It is based on the recommendation of TSR Subramaniam Committee and K. Kasturiranjan Committee. The main focus is access, equality, quality, affordability, and accountability. Highlights. First highlight is the center and state combined will raise their education expenditure to 6%. रिमेंबर दिस फिगर. जो फिगर इंपॉर्टेंट है मैं बता देता हूँ, ये याद रखना है आपको. करंट एक्सपेंडिचर इज 4.5, उसे बढ़ाना है कहां तक? 6 तक. ठीक है, प्लीज रिमेंबर दिस. नेक्स्ट, ऑटोनोमस बॉडी फॉर डिजिटल एजुकेशन अभी नहीं बनी है, मे बी इन फ्यूचर इट मे बी मेड. नेक्स्ट, यूनिवर्सलाइजिंग प्री प्राइमरी एजुकेशन फ्रॉम 3 to 6 years, which is currently taken care by Anganwadis. Anganwadis basically they are talking about. 100% gross enrollment ratio in school education. Coding, internship and vocational study will be an integral part from 6th class. क्यों, क्या हुआ? अच्छा, किस में स्टार्ट होता? अच्छा, नहीं इस वैसे अच्छा ही है, बिकॉज देखिए एवरीवन डू नॉट रीच टू द लेवल ऑफ 11th 12th. बहुत से लोग होते हैं 8वीं में छोड़ देते हैं कोई, तो उनको क्या बेसिक थोड़ा आ जाएगा. हाँ से 9 से 6 से है. हाँ, अभी मुझे नहीं आइडिया अभी कब, मुझे कब है, हमने तो कभी नहीं सीखी कोडिंग. 9 से. अच्छा ठीक है. तो द पर्पस हियर इज टू टेक इट टू 6th क्लास. अगेन देखिए, दीज आर बुकिश नॉलेज. देयर इज नो पॉइंट ऑफ हैविंग दिस व्हेन यू हैव नो टीचर्स. ठीक है, इवन द सो कॉल्ड IITs which have been opened now, they do not have any teacher, no principal, only a building with the name IIT. ठीक है, तो ऐसा भी चलता है. Next, the child's mother tongue will be used as an instrument of instruction till 5th. It's a constitutional requirement. Constitution में under Article 350A it's compulsory. Article 350A say all the instruction in school up till 5th shall be in mother tongue. It's a compulsory provision, no compromise. Next, new curriculum framework for integrating preschools and Anganwadi. Again मैं फिर कह रहा हूँ, Anganwadi are the foot soldiers of India. provide them proper salary, provide them all facilities, and you will see a transformation in India's nutritional standards and education standards. क्योंकि जब early age development, अगर याद रखिएगा, the money that you invest in a kid is always rewarding up till first year of age, till the time the baby is conceived, particularly 3 months after that conception, 3 months after conception till the baby is 1 year old. The nutrition that you provide to that baby is everything. After that, the second stage is up till 5. After that 10, and उसके बाद no possibilities. फिर वहां से निकल जाते हैं, ठीक है. But समझ आया, बहुत जरूरी है. The 1 rupee that you invest in a kid will return you 100 rupees back, because you have two options: either put 1 rupee in the nutrition of a kid, or put 100 rupees in a hospital that the kid will need later. Both are available. So best, cheaper is kid, and for that you have to do आंगनवाड़ी. वेरी 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 क्रिटिकल. चलिए अगला, नेशनल मिशन ऑन फाउंडेशन लिटरेसी न्यूमरेसी मेरे लिए है ये, ठीक है. थोड़ी मैथमेटिक्स में मेरी ऐसी वीक है. तो बेसिकली फॉर फाउंडेशनल literacy and numeracy, what is the biggest problem in India is even a 6th class student cannot do a mathematical problem of 1st class. ये बहुत कॉमन है इंडिया में. It's very common. I am talking about government schools. आप लोगों की schools की बात नहीं हो रही है, ठीक है. तो for that government is trying to introduce a new mission on foundational literacy and numeracy. इसमें you can praise हरियाणा government Saksham program. Haryana government achieved a marvelous feat where nobody could pass the board exams. So for that, Haryana government starts Saksham program, and literally things change, which I think result reached to 75 something Haryana mein. So it shows if government focuses on something, na, it can bring change, but focus लाना जरूरी होता है. Next is new and comprehensive national curriculum framework for teachers education, which will be formulative, whatever. MPhil will be abolished. आपको पता होगा, bachelor's, master, MPhil, PhD. MPhil will be abolished. PhD और मास्टर्स के बीच में कोई लिंकेज होता है इसका. Higher Education Commission of India will be created, a new umbrella body. Right now all educations are governed by different regulators. Technical education के लिए different है, medical के लिए different है, law के लिए different है. So now clubbing all the education under one regulator except medical and legal. Legal will continue to be stay under Bar Council of India, and medical under National Medical Commission. थोड़ी पहले हमने पढ़ा इसके बारे में. It will have some bodies, देख लेना, not very important, ये इतना important नहीं है, इसका नाम याद रखना बस, ठीक है. इससे अब ये कहां से बात आ गई पहली बार. अब इसमें डेफिनेट आंसर नहीं है ना. इसमें पकड़, यहाँ नहीं लेके जाएगी पुलिस पकड़ के. आईसीआई क्या है? सारा इसमें क्लब हो जाएगा, सिर्फ इन दोनों को छोड़ के सारा क्लब हो जाएगा. उसमें रिजर्वेशन बेसिकली मेडिकल में, एमबीबीएस में है अगर आपको पता हो, मास्टर्स में भी है, सुपर स्पेशलिटी में नहीं है. उसमें भी बहुत सारी डिग्रीज होती हैं, सुपर स्पेशलिटी में नहीं है. उसमें सीटें बहुत कम होती है, पूरे शहर में एक सीट होती है मुश्किल से. सुपर स्पेशलिटी काफी हैवी होता है. एनीवे, तो वी कैन नॉट डू एनीथिंग अबाउट दैट, ठीक है. उसमें हमारा कुछ भी रोल नहीं होने वाला. नेक्स्ट, एन एकेडमिक बैंक ऑफ क्रेडिट. इट इज बेसिकली व्हेन यू पास सम सब्जेक्ट, आपको पता होगा क्रेडिट मिलता है. That credit can be go into a bank, that can be transferred when you take transfer from college. It is very good for the people who often serves, मान लेते हैं whose parents serves in army and all. वो काफी ज्यादा जाते रहते हैं. So for that what happens, you can for example you can clear some subjects in one school, then can go to new school and clear remaining subjects there. अभी क्या होता है, you have to clear all the subjects there. तो ये नहीं होगा. If you clear some subject in one school, you will get some credit that will go into an online portal or something that you can use whenever you will reach to next school. तो इससे क्या होगा, you do not have to pass the same exam again and again. Good, useful. Anyway, college affiliation system will be. अब ये क्या है college affiliation? आपको पता होगा there are two things, university and college. University is the umbrella and it has a number of colleges, both private and government. Colleges provide education. University is supposed to be a administration of colleges. What is the problem? The problem is university gives affiliation for money. You have a big university name, any era gara college, no infrastructure, nothing. You take the money, you give the affiliation. So the bad colleges take advantage of a good university name and get admissions. First thing. Second thing is the good institute, the good colleges which are very good, they are scuttled by the bureaucracy of university. Malata, I'm a good college. I want to take new initiative. I have to go to the university, get this paper pass, get that paper pass, pay here, pay there. It's a big bureaucratic mess. So government is thinking they will phase out college affiliation. You can develop yourself independently. You are a college, you no longer require an affiliation. आज के समय में क्या होता है, majority of the college require affiliation. लोग admission नहीं लेते unless you are affiliated with an university. तो इसलिए अच्छा provision है. समझ में आ रहा है why this provision has been brought? So that the bad university, so that the bad colleges can stay out, and even the good colleges can stay out, which can develop on themselves. They should not be burdened by the bureaucracy of a university. Clear? Next target is doubling gross enrollment ratio in higher education. So only 26% of Indians get higher education in 2018. Uske baad bhi so much of unemployment. So if they will be 50, so more unemployment. But remember the target is 50. Focus on traditional knowledge and Indian knowledge system, of course, that Ayurveda and all. ठीक है, multidisciplinary education research universities at par with IIT, IIMs, special education zones for social disadvantaged people, gender inclusion fund to help the girls and the transgender students particularly. New curriculum. This point is very important. The new curriculum is 5334. The old curriculum was 10+2. The new curriculum is 5334. Please remember this. क्या है देख लेते हैं. 5 years of foundational education that will include 3 years of pre-primary and grade 1 and 2. So 3 years of pre-primary and then first class and second class will be your 5 years of foundational. Next is 3 years of preparatory after later primary, 3rd, 4th and 5th class. After that 6th, 7th and 8th class will be middle या फिर upper primary. And last में 9th, 10th and 11th, 12th. So this is a new classification. Up till 1st you have foundational, up till 5th you have later primary, up till 8th you have upper primary and up till 12th you have secondary. Okay, this is a new classification. याद रखिएगा 5334. 10+2 has been done away with. So यही है reforms. Education, I believe, is a concurrent list subject. Education is in concurrent list. Last time I checked, so they cannot make it compulsory anyway. But consider this: CBSE, if does anything, na majority of the boards tends to follow. They tends to follow. So why to make compulsory when people will anyway follow? ठीक है, बाकी देख लेंगे जो होगा. Anyway, CBSE affiliation, private तो वैसे भी ज़्यादातर I believe they like CBSE word. ठीक है, they may not have teachers or anything, but they like CBSE word. वैसे as far as I have heard that I think regional boards are tougher than CBSE. इतना मैंने सुना है कि regional boards are tougher than CBSE. CBSE में किसी के भी 96, 97 आ रहे हैं. अब रीजन में भी कुछ भी. चलिए नेक्स्ट देखते हैं ब्रिक्स. Next is BRICS. So our BRICS summit happened, you know, Modi ji from there took the Chandrayaan to the Chand. ठीक है. He personally escorted this. ठीक है. क्या चाहिए? अच्छा, ऐसा भी हो गया क्या? लास्ट मैंने तो कुछ और ही लिखा हुआ है इसमें. ठीक है. 15 BRICS summit is being held from 22 to 24 जो भी है यार. The BRICS came into existence. Understand the year. Why 2006? कोई guess कर सकता है? Anyone can guess? ये 6 गलत लिखा है भाई. 9 है ये. गलत लिखा है. 9 है. Yes, very good. 2008 में a big economic crisis happened. it was the right time available for the developing countries, particularly Brazil, India, China, and Russia. They were kind of what we were trying to do. We were trying to lecture the West. BRICS was significant, and that is the criticism also. The criticism of BRICS is it's a motley cow. Motley cow, it's a thing, but you mix a lot of things, you make something out of it. So West says that the only thing holding the BRICS is anti-West idea. They're trying to oppose West. Apart from that, BRICS has nothing in common. वो वैसे सही बात भी है. Look at the partners here. So anyway, मेन तो है देखिए ब्रिक्स में इफ यू सी द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट ग्लू ऑफ द ब्रिक्स इज एंटी यूएस. अब दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम विद इंडिया राइट नाउ. उस समय में तो इट्स ओके बिकॉज करंट गवर्नमेंट इज प्रो यूएस. इस गवर्नमेंट इज यूएस लीनिंग एंड नाउ यू हैव ब्रिक्स विच इज डिस्टिंक्टिवली एंटी वेस्ट प्लेटफॉर्म. एंड व्हाई इज इट सो? मैंने आपको पहले ही बताया था. आफ्टर सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर USA took the supremacy. USA became a superpower. The challenger to the USA was USSR, the next superpower. Since 1991, the world has only one superpower, USA. But nothing is permanent in this world, and so does supremacy. Now, the new challenger to supremacy is China. And USA understands this. जब भी आप आया करेंगे, वहाँ पे you will do Donald Trump's time पे national security strategy. USA and developed countries have a tendency. If they do anything ना, they do in writing. ये मैंने starting में भी आपको समझाया था. That West and the East has difference here. East believes in oral traditions. West believes in written traditions. If they do anything ना, they write documents. East में majority of the things happens in orally. बात समझ में आई? So West में they write NSS, National Security Strategy. US National Security Strategy clearly says that China is an enemy country and I will take all the efforts to counter China. हम ये बात जानते भी हैं पर हम बोलते नहीं हैं. That was a criticism when Modi ji was saying nothing and when Modi ji said ना ही कोई आया है ना ही कोई घुसा है. What was the problem here? You are giving a clean chit. You should have said yes कोई आया है, मार के भगाएंगे. Understand the difference here. अब उन्होंने मोदी जी ने बोल दिया ना ही कोई आया ना ही कोई घुसा है. So if you tell to the Chinese, go back to your land, they will be like, हम तो आए ही नहीं थे. You're getting the problem. That was a blunder, foreign policy blunder. But that was not for you people. That was for the loyal voters who were unable to understand how to defend this. बात समझ में आया? Please remember this. The countries involved here do not have anything in common. Right now, the new grouping in the world is Russia, Pakistan, and China versus the Quad. This is the new grouping. The military grouping, you can say. Quad involves US, India, Australia, Japan. This is a new versus grouping. But nonetheless, it is going on. Year is significant. मैंने आपको समझा दिया. 2008 crisis. It was a time to lecture the world that you know nothing. Sorry, the West that you know nothing. We will do something out of it. And achievement भी है BRICS की. New Development Bank. और जहां तक बात है एक्सपेंशन की, पक्का एक्सपेंशन हो गया इसका? एक बंदा बोलो. ज्वाइन कर लिए हैं. इसमें कंटेंट में से दिया नहीं मेरे को, तो ठीक है फिर मैं इसे वेरीफाई करके दूंगा. उसमें कौन कौन से कंट्री कोई बता सकता है? इस पे क्लियरिटी नहीं लग रही है मुझे. मैं एक बार चेक करके बताऊंगा बिकॉज मेरे को ऐसा न्यूज नहीं पता लगा. कुछ इनविटेशन इज डिफरेंट. मे बी मेंबर बना दिया गया, इसका मुझे आइडिया नहीं था. तो अर्जेंटीना, ईरान, सऊदी अरेबिया, इजिप्ट, इथियोपिया, यूएई. अच्छा, they will join from next year. Cool. तो ब्रिक्स में एक्चुअली दिस प्लान वाज गोइंग ऑन. जो ब्रिक्स में मेन इशू जो आ रहा था, व्हाट वाज द बिगेस्ट इशू दैट द ब्रिक्स वाज हैविंग, ये सब मैंने आपको समझा दिया, ये छोड़िए. The three big issues that were BRICS was having. One was BRICS Trade Pact. What China was trying to do, China was trying to push a free trade agreement in the BRICS. Now the problem is India does not want that. Neither Russia wants that. Free trade agreement का मतलब समझते हैं? They will be diluting borders, tariff and non-tariff barriers. So China is the world largest manufacturer. Now the problem here is USA and China are fighting with each other. USA, which is the largest consumer of the Chinese product, is trying to do away with Chinese products. So who is remaining there? India and Russia, particularly India, because India is a large market. So China proposed a BRICS trade pact, which a lot of countries did not want to join. अमर उस पे तो आई हैव टू, हाँ मैंने देख लिया क्वेश्चन आपका, बट आई हैव टू सी व्हाट इज द मेंबर एंड व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम देयर. बट दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम, वी ऑलरेडी नो समथिंग कॉल्ड ब्रिक्स प्लस में ऑलरेडी थी ये प्रॉब्लम. अर्लियर भी चाइना प्रपोज टू एक्सपेंड द ब्रिक्स. इंडिया एंड रशिया वाज रेसिस्टिंग इट बिकॉज उनका बिलीव था चाइना विल ट्राई टू ब्रिंग कंट्रीज दैट यू आर हाईलाइटिंग इनटू द फोल्ड ऑफ ब्रिक्स. इट इज ऑलरेडी डोमिनेटेड बाय एंटी वेस्ट आइडियाज. If you bring countries like this, it will be further dominated by anti-West ideas. अगर जो कंट्री आप बता रहे हैं वो सही है, तो ईरान तो particularly hate US, ठीक है. Saudi Arabia, right now Saudi Arabia is realigning itself. Saudi Arabia was best friend with USA. Now it is trying to move away from USA, trying to becoming more autonomous. Reason उसके अलग है, आप IR में डिटेल में करेंगे. But the logic here is BRICS plus. समझ में आ रहा है सबको? BRICS plus में China is trying to expand the membership of the BRICS. The country like India and Russia are hesitant toward this because more the things. Critics says China wants to expand the BRICS mechanism as a mean to garner wider influence for itself. The more the member of BRICS, the more member China can influence to create something we call Beijing consensus. मैंने आपको पहले ही बताया था. There is one thing called Washington consensus. Washington consensus, the set of ideas that evolved in Washington that laid the foundation of today's economic world. China is trying to substitute Washington consensus with a set of ideas emerged in Beijing, the capital of China. China is trying to create a world of Beijing consensus. Right now, we are living in a world of Washington consensus. Substitution हो रहा है. It's a fight to become the superpower और कुछ नहीं है. Last is BRICS rating agency. कुछ नहीं है, रेटिंग एजेंसीज होती है. रिमेंबर 2000, इसमें डिटेल में करना पड़ेगा. चलिए कोई नहीं, इसको एक काम करेंगे, इसको नेक्स्ट सैटरडे फिर से करते हैं ब्रिक्स वाले को, बिकॉज मैं 2-3 अपडेट करने हैं मेरे को. ठीक है, बट अंडरस्टैंड, दो चीजें समझ में आ गई. ब्रिक्स आपका ब्रिक्स प्लस एंड ब्रिक्स ट्रेड पैक्ट. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट सैटरडे वी विल डू इट अगेन. इसमें और डिटेल देखना पड़ेगा. लास्ट देख लेते हैं, मिथेन पॉल्यूशन. इट इज अबाउट ग्रीन हाउस गैसेस इमिशन बेसिकली. We know greenhouse gas effect already. That is based on something called Planck's constant या Planck's law भी बोलते हैं इसे. The hotter the body, the longer the, कुछ नहीं पता ऐसा कुछ. The shorter the radiation, the hotter the, तो बात वही होगी ना, the hotter the body, the shorter the radiation. The colder the body, the longer the wavelength of the radiation. Longer the radiation, shorter नहीं होता, wavelength होता है. ठीक है, इस तरीके से कुछ होता है इसमें. So understand this. Sun rays, because sun is a hotter body, so it emits radiation at a shorter wavelength. It easily penetrates from Earth's atmosphere. Earth का जो atmosphere है, ठीक है, which is composed of numerous gases. तो sun से when it comes, it easily penetrates to the Earth, then it hits the Earth's surface. Up Earth when get hitten up, of course, it will emit the radiation back. The radiation it emits back is of longer wavelength. And the gases present in the atmosphere stop those radiation, and that's how the Earth is getting hotter and hotter. This is called greenhouse gas effect. सबको समझ में, how does it work? So the problem here is methane is a greenhouse gas, carbon dioxide is there, even water vapors are greenhouse gas. ठीक है, water vapors in atmosphere, but they are natural process, तो इसमें mind नहीं करते हैं. Carbon dioxide and methane are human produced majorly. Methane particularly is dangerous. Why is it dangerous? Methane आपको पता होगा, methane the natural gas you use, natural gas CNG जो भरवाते हैं गाड़ियों में, that CNG is major component is natural gas. Petroleum में natural gas is used. LPG में natural gas नहीं होती है, ठीक है, उसमें और भी gases होती हैं. Clear? Anyway, remember majority of the gases are natural gas, means methane we are talking about. That the formula particularly is CH4, not very important, but remember that. The problem here is this is the problem. The methane is around 80 times stronger than CO2 in its ability for greenhouse gas impact. So it is like emit 1 kg of carbon dioxide or emit 1 kg of methane or emit 80 kg of carbon dioxide. Equivalent impact you will reach. That's why it is even more critical. And the biggest sources of methane is, yes, farming में बहुत होता है. Farming में the things that you use, animal husbandry is the largest contributor. Among the agriculture and large activities, animal husbandry, that is the animals that you basically raise for slaughter, they are the largest contributor to greenhouse gas emission from the primary sector. But and who consume the meat eaters are not only killing animals, they are killing earth also. ये भी एक reason है. ठीक है, clear? So remember what are the primary sources of methane? Farming and fossil fuels. Both are man-made basically. And the problem here is it is 80 times stronger than CO2. Termination level transition. ये मैंने आपको बताया था. What is the termination level transition temperature? Paris Agreement targeting 2 degrees. Yes. That is called termination level transition. A sudden and significant climate shift on Earth. Under Paris Agreement, the target is 2 degrees centigrade. It is assumed if the Earth's temperature rises 2 and beyond, the climate change will be irreversible. The climatological event like sudden floods. Just for example, आप देखिए what is happening in North India, the entire Himachal Pradesh. That is a classical case of climate change. Climate change is bringing erratic weather. You cannot predict. इस तरह की predictability अब खत्म हो गई है. So you are getting clear. The target is 2. That is called termination level transition temperature is 2. And the target in the Paris Agreement is keeping the temperature of the Earth lower than 2 degrees centigrade. Agreement name is Paris Agreement. That deals with climate change on Earth. Target level is 2 degree, but the preferable level is 1.5. Main target इसका है 1.5, but the critical target is 2. Please remember that. बाकी तो आपको पता होगा, the climate change is very common. It keeps on happening around the world, around the earth, throughout the history of the earth. You will do in geography. Throughout the history of the earth, there have been extinction. एक तो आपको पता ही होगा dinosaurs का. उसके अलावा there have been numerous extinctions. Ice age was there, then warming, then ice age. It keeps on happening. अर्थ में ये बहुत कॉमन चीज है. इसीलिए तो हम कहाँ जाना चाहते हैं? मार्स पे. मैंने पहले भी समझाया था. The race to Mars is not only about aura. It is also because we are dependent on one gola, that is Earth. We want to do the दूसरा गोला, that is Mars. Then we will be intergola species. ठीक है? चलिए, anyway. Methane impact मैंने आपको बताया था, हाई ट्रैपिंग कैपेसिटी एंड पार्ट्स पर मिलियन वगैरह. Please remember Government of India's initiative. The initiative is Harit Dhara. It's basically it's a supplement kind of thing used for animal husbandry. मैंने आपको बताया था, animal husbandry is the largest contributor of greenhouse gases. तो उसके लिए इन्होंने कुछ डेवलप किया है. It reduces cattle methane emission by 17 to 20% and also boosts the milk production. Next is greenhouse gas program, which is led by World Resource Institute, CII and dairy, basically making companies more environmental friendly. The program name is India Greenhouse Gas Program. उसके अलावा हरित धारा, ये ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. प्लीज रिमेंबर दिस नेम फॉर एवर. National Action Plan on Climate Change. You will do this in detail in environment itself. National Action Plan on Climate Change, very 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 important. It has 8 sub plans. इसके अंदर 8 sub plans हैं, and those every plan deals with different issues and all are very very important. But nonetheless यहाँ पे मैं आपको बता दे रहा हूँ, it was launched in 2000. करेंगे आप इसे डिटेल में, it will be in detail in environment. ठीक है. Next is Bharat Stage 6. These are emission norms, vehicular emission norms implemented in India since 2020. These are compulsory in India. आपने देखा होगा गाड़ियों के आसपास लिखा होता है BS6 compliant vehicle, इसी की बात हो रही है. भारत स्टेज 6 नॉर्म्स. ठीक है. ग्लोबल इनिशिएटिव में यू हैव मीथेन अलर्ट एंड रिस्पांस सिस्टम, मार्स, आयरनी, ग्लोबल मीथेन प्लेज, ग्लोबल मीथेन इनिशिएटिव, अनशन प्रोग्राम है, पढ़ लेना. ग्रीन हाउस गैस मैंने बता दिया था, प्लीज रिमेंबर द नेम. कौन कौन सी ग्रीन हाउस गैस है? वाटर वेपर, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, मीथेन, नाइट्रस ऑक्साइड, ओजोन. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड, फ्लोरीन गैसेस, chlorofluorocarbon that we used to use in रेफ्रिजरेटर्स, एसीज. अब एसीज में हमने चीजें बदल दी हैं. ठीक है. ब्लैक कार्बन दैट इज सूट एंड ब्राउन कार्बन, ये ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम नहीं करता बिकॉज सेटल डाउन हो जाता है. चलिए, एनीवे, क्लियर एवरीवन. बाकी अगेन करंट अफेयर्स में ग्लिम्स ही हो पाता है, डिटेल तो आपके रिस्पेक्टिव सब्जेक्ट में होगा. चलिए, बाय बाय, देन वी विल मीट अगेन एंड ब्रिक्स वाला वी विल डू अगेन. Very welcome everyone. Bye bye.